because he's a heck of a football player. He nursed that ankle back. A big shout out to our trainers and doctors, Spencer Jennings, Eddie Bright, who just work tirelessly on these guys when they're injured. And Landon's a heck of a football player. He can make things happen when things break down. He's done that all year, and he did that tonight on that screenplay where he just took off and ran with it. So just really proud of him. He's a tough, gritty kid. He's as tough as they come.
Coach, you talked about letting these seniors go out with a win after winning it their freshman year and coming up short. What does it mean to you to get this done tonight with your team?
It means a lot. I'm gonna get to coach another 20, 25 years, God willing. But some of these guys, it was the last time that they're gonna actually put a helmet on and play this game, and that's what means the world to me. I'm glad that we won it. But it's about these guys and the job that they did. They're the ones that put in all the work.
Michael, talk about that line, right?
Yes, sir.
I need to say your last name so we get it right.
Cerniauskas.
Butchered that before, sorry. But,
It's all good.
talk about the defensive efforts you guys came out with tonight, especially in the first half. There was a whole series there where seemed like you guys were really effective at the play, batting down balls. What was the mindset defensively going against this team?
Yeah, our defense has been playing good all season, but it kind of hadn't really shown on paper every time because we've given up some big plays here and there. So it's kind of on us seeing the Veer for the third time this season, really keyed up, and just wanted to get after and be physical and go out on top. We have a couple seniors, Mikey Alvarado and Christian Menino, that play defense as well as Connor Stewart. And we just really wanted to kind of bring that group together, have one last hoorah.
You mentioned it, but that schedule that you guys played, a lot of times adding a week of, if each of the guys could talk about how that prepared you for this moment, and maybe, this was another Friday night, I'm sure it's a championship game.
Right, yeah, it's just being battle tested. We've had a couple close losses early on in the beginning of the season, and then towards the end of the season, you kind of saw that experience of being in those close games, paying off, and coming out on top in those tight games. So I really kind of saw it today when we pulled through late.
I feel like we were really prepared for the big games and the moments. We had a lot of experience, and I think those games that we lost and those close games at the end of the season, it really made us who we are, and I think they were very beneficial for us.
Hey, Trey.
Oh yeah, these games, we had a bunch of adversity, really focused in, showed a bunch about our team, having great focus coming out, even though with short notice, playing a heck of a ball game.
Trey, the Byrd coach was just in here complimenting your offense. How many different great players are all the different formations and people. What does it mean to you, for you to be the MVP of all those people who did all these things in the game?
I feel like it could have been numerous people. Like, we have many playmakers. Corey Singleton, which is unfortunately out. George Hart, Tay Nicholas, Sheldon Sampson. We all know who it is. We just have a plethora of people to make plays, and I love that. And I'm just blessed to be named a MVP.
Trey and Daniel, talk a little bit about that 78-yard pass play. I think that kind of was maybe an exhale moment where it took a little tension off. It's like, yeah, we can break one of these, we can do one of these. You just kind of took it and just took it to the house. Did you know that right away as soon as you caught it, or?
Well, I was, yes, man, I was thinking about that before the play, like pre-snap. I just wanted to catch the ball and just run. I didn't really focus on juking or anything, but we just took what they gave us, and we was trying to run.
Yeah, so before the snap, I saw the opening where they were, and there was one linebacker on that play side right there, and I was just reading his helmet. He came down hard. I had an easy throw to Trey. I mean, just trusting my receivers, trusting the O-line to make great blocks. It was simple, pitch and catch.
I mean, you had a couple of things that didn't go right for you early on, but you didn't get down on yourself. I know you had a lot of guys around you. Talk a little about that.
Yes, ma'am. I just trusted the players around me. I knew the O-line would step up, great blocking, great running game. Play actions were open, short passes were open because of the run game, and they crowded the box. Then my receivers, I could throw an easy pass. They could turn it into a big game, be simple. We just had to trust everything and execute.
Coach, I would ask you, how does this championship compare to the one from a couple of years ago, especially after going the last 2 years not getting it?
It's the best one. because it's the one we just won. You know, like I learned a lot from Coach Pete Boudreaux, who's won, I think, 52 of them. Ms. Fambro, is that correct?
Yeah, I think that is correct.
And I coached with Coach Boudreaux in track when I first got to Catholic, and we were just ripping off state championships at every turn. And he would always say, when people would ask him about, you know, what about this championship or that one, and he would always say, this one is the most special because it's for these guys. And every group is different. They have a different personality. They have a different vibe and feel, and what makes one tick, it doesn't make the other tick. And, you know, to steal one from Coach Boudreaux, this one right here, this is the best one.
But talk about the growth of this team. We've talked about it all year. I mean, you know, the first 2 games, 2 quality teams, but, you know, they had to grow up a lot, and they did. And it's been amazing to watch. From your point of view, sitting back now, tell us what you think.
You know, we had a lot of change. We lost our offensive coordinator, Coach Hudson Fuller, who's a fantastic football coach. And we hired Coach Norman Joseph, who came in and had a lot of, you know, learning and adjusting to do into what we do in our system. So there was a lot of figuring everybody out that happened early on, just in the coaches. You know, when you lose a coordinator, there's a lot of, and we didn't get a whole lot of real football prep to figure all that stuff out because of COVID. So there was that as one of the aspects of that. But then I told these guys early on that they were a young team. I mean, just look at the crew that's up here right now. We have a freshman, we have a junior, and a senior. And, you know, I told them that they had to earn the right to not be called a young team anymore. And so those early games, they had to grow up. And they did, and they matured, and they never blinked, and they kept working. And somewhere around after that Ruston game, I told them after that game, I said, guys, y'all have earned the right. You're not a young team anymore. And these guys have just matured right in front of our eyes all year.
Gabe, I think one of the biggest compliments I think of your team is that they are a team. They're very complimentary. The defense plays just as well as the offense at times. I guess what is that like to be a coach? Obviously, your staff has a lot to do with that, but a coach of that team, that like you said, you've got seniors that are doing it, you've got freshmen that are doing it as well. What is that like to kind of have everything clicking?
You know, it takes a lot to get to that. You know, it takes a lot of support from the administration. It takes a lot of support from the teachers and the parents. And there's just so many people that go into what you're basically referring to as the culture, is the culture of the team. And the culture of this team has been and will always be Cur Dog culture. And that just means no matter the circumstances, no matter what's happening, we're going to step back up to the line and go one more time. And I think these guys have really embodied that. And then there's just so many guys, like Trey said, I mean, it was just Trey's night. The things that were there in the game plan that Trey could take advantage of, and Daniel there, it was his night to do that. Against Brother Martin, there were things that Sheldon Sampson could take advantage of. Against Acadiana, there was things in the run game and option game. So, you know, when you've got all those different pieces, it's really about what is the defense giving you and what can you take advantage of. And then I think our defense coordinator, Deuce Harrison, he's fantastic. He's one of the smartest people that I've ever met in my life. And, you know, he gets these guys ready to play and against all these different schemes and all that. And then Coach Sean Jessic, our special teams coordinator. Special teams, I thought, were really, really good tonight. We blocked a PAT. That was huge. Just, you know, it was a 3-phase game tonight.
Been a lot of highlights with the big plays. It seemed like there were some little plays also that really swung this game, you know, late. You know, block extra point, stop for a 2-point play. And then late in the third quarter, a couple minutes to go, you went 4 on 4th down. The play with Reinhold. What, you know, were you definitely going to do that? Did you think about it? Where did you have that play stored?
Yeah, so the princess play, that's what we call it. He's going to be so mad at me for saying that on the news. I actually refer to him as Mighty Mouse. He is the toughest little dude on the football team. I mean, he's my size, but he's 10 times tougher than I ever was. So whenever he gets hit or he falls down and he's, you know, acting like he's hurt, I call him Princess. So that was the princess play. And we, about Tuesday of this week, one of the coaches, Coach Caleb Williamson, came in and said, "Man, did you see this quarterback sneak that Alabama did? It's genius. The guy runs across in speed sweep, and he comes back over and gets under center." And I said, "We're doing this. This is fantastic." And we put Reinhold's under center that day at practice to see if he could get a few snaps, and it was like he had been playing quarterback his whole life, so we put him in there, and he weaseled his way down there for like a 2 or 3 yard gain on the princess play. It was good.
Michael, in your last game, when you go out with an interception there late in the second half, how was that play for you?
It wasn't necessarily the interception. It was the fact that the game was kind of at that point sealed off, and we had won it. And I went off to the sideline. I was bawling, crying in tears because me and the rest of these seniors have worked 4 years now for this opportunity to get to this point and go out on top.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate it. Congratulations.